So yeah, in the next 10 minutes I would like to talk about the next semester, the spring semester 2015, and some of the new things we're going to do are in our school. Now, we're going to touch upon the new distribution of the students into the classes. We're going to talk a little bit about the weekend program, moving on to the new schedule for bilingual classes and some of the ESL classes, and we'll wrap it up with some new things in the classrooms and some more things. So let's break it down. So first thing, let's talk about how we distribute students into the classrooms. Now, in the past, it looked something like that. We took students and we just distributed them into class 1, class 2, class 3. That's what we did. And we have grade 1, class 1, grade 1, grade 2, grade 3. It's okay, as long as all the students are of the same level. If we have 30 students of the same level of English, it's okay, but the reality is different from that. So what we have now is a very diverse classes of students' capability. And next semester, so at the schedule these days looks like that. So this is, for example, grade 1, class 1, they have 28 kids of different levels, and they have, well, a fair amount of bilingual classes. Some of the kids doing well, some of the kids are not doing so well. And what we're going to do next semester, or try to do that, try to accomplish, we're going to take our kids, we know their levels, we know their exam scores, and we're going to redistribute them again, but not just take them randomly, but now we know their scores, and we're going to assign them each, we're going to assign each individual student to a particular level group. Level A, level B1, level B2, level C. Now some of the kids who are doing really well, they don't have to be in the same class with students who are falling behind. Likewise, students who are, whose level of English is fairly good, for example B, they don't have to be with level C students, because these students need more time, they need to be taught at a lower pace, so we need to put them into the different group. And the schedule will look something like that. For example, this is the schedule for the A group, the most advanced students. They do have 6 classes of English, and this is the time required for them to cover the necessary part of the book for this week. They don't have to study the book for these 3 classes, because there's no use in that. We're just wasting their time. What we're going to do all speaking club activities for them, or outdoor activities, something else. So something on top of the regular curriculum, because, they're smart enough to understand the curriculum in 6 days. Now let's have a look at Group B. Now just one more time, we have 6, 2, 1. Now Group B students are not that advanced. They need some more time, an extra class of English to catch up with the first graders, with the advanced group. But they do have speaking club and grammar review. Not so much fun, but still a fair amount of time to cover the material. And finally, our students who need more time to catch up, they have a lot of English classes. They have about 6 classes. They have grammar review here, they have grammar review here, vocabulary review, a lot of things for them to catch up with the strong students. They don't need so much fun activities because, there's little they can benefit from this speaking classes, because they don't know how to speak. They need to know grammar, vocabulary before they can have fun. One important thing is that we still have one teacher that is assigned to each particular group. So before, we were assigned to a grade. I was a teacher of grade 1, class 1, Peter, grade 1, class 3. Well, we're going to kind of turn it around a little bit. So these days, we have strong students, intermediate students, and we have kind of our beginner students. And we still have just a teacher that is assigned to this particular class. And what we're going to do, we're going to take one step further, and we're going to split the classes, because this is the major problem right now we have. We have the class size is too small, we have 30 students. We're going to split them into, for example, we can have, for Peter's class, we can have 20 students. And for B group, we can split the B group into 2 groups and have 2 groups of 20 students, for example. Of course, we need more teachers for that, and that's what we're working on right now. We're working on to hire more foreign teachers in our school so that we can reduce the class size to 20, maybe 15 students. One more important thing, all classes, A, B, C, they all follow the same curriculum. That is, cover the same amount of material a week. Let's say, for example, we need to cover student's book, page 2 to 6. All grades, group A, B, and C, they all cover the same book, the same material, from page 6, from page 2 to page 6. But these students, they don't need 5 days a week to cover this material. They need 3 days. And the rest of the days, we just do, well, fun things. Go outside, play with them, again, using English as a means of communication with them. Right? So, I think it makes sense. Well, let's see how it happens. This is what we plan to do with curriculum. So we're going to take the students, we know their grades, we have their midterm scores. Well, teachers did a good job of, showing you yesterday what their scores are. So we're going to redistribute them, just mix them up a little bit into different levels and put them in different levels, assign a teacher and see what we have. So this is, like for example, this is what we're going to do with students. And the reason why we do that brings me to the next point. It's a bilingual program. I want to talk a little bit about bilingual program. I didn't have much time yesterday to talk about that. Just give you a little description of what we mean by bilingual program. Some of you asked me yesterday, what is bilingual program? What is that? And this is just a short description. Bilingual program involves teaching academic content in 2 languages, in a native language, Chinese, and a second language, in our case, English language. The aim of the program is to teach some subjects in the students' native language in the beginning. So that's what we're doing right now. We teach them science, math, PE in their native language, Chinese language. And then subject in the native language in the beginning of their education, and then switch to the language of instruction to English only maybe. At our school, these subjects are taught in Chinese as their native language and English as their second language, and also take science and math classes in English. So the Chinese language serves as a bridge for students to transfer from Chinese math and Chinese science to English math and English science. And in the long run, this subject, English, math, science, PE, and art, are going to be our core subjects for the students. And this is what bilingual program is all about. It's about incorporating English into all parts, in the art, in Chinese curriculum, try to mirror Chinese curriculum, try to do math, science, PE in English, and probably someday we'll see a schedule like this, maybe someday next semester. So this is a schedule for grade 1, class 1, for example. Now, that's one of the students. Remember, each student has different schedule for English language, remember? So each student is assigned to a different language group. So they all have language, English at the same time, but on top of that they have Chinese math, okay? Fine with that, we have art, which is taught by a foreign teacher. It's not English language, they go to the art class and there is a foreign teacher talking to them English. They draw, they learn some concepts, art concepts, but in English, not in Chinese. Right, so we followed up with English subjects. Then we go to science, which is also taught by a foreign teacher again. But how do we know that students actually, they do not fall behind from their Chinese curriculum? Well, we do have Chinese curriculum here as well. We do have Chinese math, Chinese English here, Chinese science somewhere here. Well, it's just a sample. It's not set in stone, just a sample. So what we're trying to do, we're trying to incorporate English into the curriculum, not just English as a subject. We try to do math, Chinese, math, English, PE, art, all these things, all at once. And yeah, so it sounds really good. It looks good, but we do lack something here. We lack something that we do talk to the students in the classroom environment. We do different activities, group work, pair work, individual work, but it's all in the classroom. This is the students' main domain where they face teacher. But how about their natural environment, where students actually leave, right? And in the classroom, their study time, but the students actually leave in their break time. And this is the time that we kind of pass up. We do not try to talk to them, do not try to communicate with them during the breaks, because this is their real time, real life of the student during the break time. They're running around, play with their kids, have fun. And that's why we came up with the English speaking day. More time, more practice. And next semester, we'll have certain days, 2 days a week, 3 days a week, depending on the workload of the foreign teachers, where we will assign them certain time, 10 minutes a day, 20 minutes a day during the break time, where we do not have many classes. Just go around the playground where students running and just talk to them casually, asking them simple questions, because we know what they're studying right now, what curriculum, what subjects, what language vocabulary they're learning right now. And we can ask them these questions. What's the weather like? What do you like doing? What are you doing now? Are you swimming? Are you running? So try to engage them into the conversation, not only during the class time, but also in their natural environment, in their time when they play, have fun. Well, sounds great, I think. So we'll try to do that. And in the course of this great interaction, great communication, there are some students who are, for some reason, falling behind. Well, the reason for that is various. Sometimes the students are inattentive, sometimes their abilities are limited, and we do not forget about these kids either. We do come up with a weekend program for the kids. First of all, for the kids who are falling behind. This is our main audience. If kids are falling behind, we cannot just have fun with the strong students on the playground and forget about the students who are falling behind. No way. So we're going to do review sessions with the students at the weekends. What does it mean? It means that we're going to make kind of suggestion to the parents. Your kid is falling behind. We have two options. First, we can give you homework, work with the kids at home, but sometimes, you know, we are all teachers. We spend tons of time talking about education, how to teach kids, and then we just tell parents, you know, this is a piece of paper, do that. Well, it's not professional, and if parents are smart enough, they understand, well, I'm not an educator. I could do that, but, well, chances are that I'll just spend time and the result will be zero. So that's why we will give them another option. Well, please join our review sessions at the weekends. Maybe 1 hour on Sunday or 1 hour on Saturday. And we'll offer our foreign teachers to join this program again for their benefit as well. It's not, well, just a charity program. So we'll figure something out. Well, it's just a plan for the next semester to launch this weekend program for the review students who are falling behind. But also we don't forget about students who are doing well. If they're doing well, they don't need to sit there on Saturday reviewing the material, so that's why we want to offer them speaking workshops. And the speaking workshops we're doing right now are okay, because some of the students are not actually, well, qualified for them, that speaking workshops they're doing right now, which is an example. But one day we had students, we had a batch of students who actually benefited a lot from this speaking programs, because their level is very high, they can understand. And the good thing is we mingle grade 1, grade 2, grade 3 all together. We mix them up, and students from grade 1 can actually learn from students from grade 3. They can see, oh, this kid is older than me, and I can learn from him. So kind of interaction between the students, weaker students learning from the better students. Speaking workshop for students who are advanced. There's still one audience I haven't touched upon yet. This is the audience we see right here. These are our teachers. So we're going to come up with their teacher training. Teacher training, by teacher training I mean two things. First, train teachers to be a better teacher. And, like Alan said, we are a bilingual school. Means that when I'm speaking right now, we should understand each other. So Chinese teachers should learn English. English teachers or teachers should learn Chinese. Right, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to, well, we should be learners ourselves, right? 1 hour a week, 1 hour a weekend. So we can donate this time, right? We can donate this time and learn, pick up some English, become some Chinese, because I want to learn Chinese, and I pay money to do that, right? So you want to learn English, so we are English teachers, you are Chinese teachers. Why don't we do the, co-learning, dual learning? We learn from you, you learn from us. So this is what we're going to do. And we have good ideas. We have good ideas how to teach you have good ideas how to do so. Why don't we cooperate and do good things? So this is a weekend program, both for students and for teachers. Okay. There's still one more thing I want to talk about today. This is all familiar teacher to us, right? Students sitting, reading. One thing I hate about that, personally, is these little things right here. Students have like their own storage room there. They have food, they have clothes, books, everything. They have, you know, sometimes they even have their friends there under the table. So, yeah, and we want to turn it on its head. We want to bring some colors to the classroom. We want to bring new desks, but it's still not enough. Right? If we only bring new desks, still the concept is the same. Students are sitting, facing the board, stand up, sit down, only commands we have. Why don't we go one step further? Why don't we change the seating arrangements? Well, there are 28 students here. I personally arranged the classroom, this one, so I just play around with the tables. And we have 28 students here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 2 tables over here. So 28 students seated here. What are the benefits? Well, the benefits are great. Students can learn, they can speak to each other. How can students talk here? How? It's so inconvenient that these tables are so heavy. We cannot, say, all right, now we need some room, we need to play. How do you do that? It's really hard. But when we have seating arrangements like this, there's plenty of room here. We can do the role play in the middle of the classroom. This teacher can be in the middle of the classroom, no longer teaching here. Teachers can be in the middle of the classroom, just feel it. Yeah, the teacher is here talking to each individual kid. Right? So the impact will be enormous. So why don't we do that? Why don't we try it? Right? No one is going to find us and kill us if we try that. Right? Looks great. So why don't we give it a try? I like that. Looks really nice. And we can even, again, take one step further and just get rid of the tables whatsoever. The chair is too small for Yana.
It was.
Not a kid, right? And what was he trying to say? I like cats. I like cats. You got the idea, right? So why don't we try to change something? So let me recap. So first thing, we're going to redistribute the students, try the new groups for the students, level-based. Second thing, we're going to introduce more subjects, art, PE, or music, or, well, as much as the more the merrier. Next thing, we're going to do the speaking club, where we, not speaking club, English speaking day, where I try to interact with the students during the breaks. Next thing, we're going to do the weekend program where both students and teachers can learn. Next thing, we're going to rearrange the tables, bring some colors to the classroom with the sole purpose, keep students' interest up. Because if students are interested, well, we got them. Thank you very much.
No question for you today.